I'm Bri.
And I'm Lew.
And you're just in time for something new.
With that being said, what we about to do is a get ready with us. Yes. I know most people usually say get ready with me, but we're going to do get ready with us. And we're going to talk about some things that has been floating around, give our opinions on it. So I'll let you lead it out.
Yeah, so there was this video going around the internet with this guy who's like a relationship expert or something like that. And this lady called in to get some advice. And he told her, some of the clips were like, he told her that she was average at best. And she didn't need to try to pursue a relationship with a man who makes six figures because of how she looked and the fact that she didn't really know what she wanted. So that was the gist of what we saw. And then there were comments about like, oh, you know, he shouldn't be talking to women like that. He shouldn't be saying things that could like, you know, tear her down. And then there were other comments like people saying he's telling the truth. Yeah. You know, so we're just going to get into it.
Yeah, and we'll make sure we put the link in the description of the video if you guys want to check it out so you can watch it yourselves. One thing that Bri did mention was that the angle that he took, what you'll notice in the video, is he does this segment to where people call in and they disagree or whatever. So he has it broken out to different time frames, and he felt disrespected in regards to how he has his business structure set up. So he used it as a teachable moment, you know. So we figured we would give our opinions as well as just speak on different aspects of all of it. So with that being said, as y'all can see, man, your boy, I'm looking crazy. My hair's connected to my neck.
He's still fine though, but yeah, we're gonna get that together. And I just have my hair wrapped. We already washed our faces off camera.
She did.
I washed my face off camera. I'll show y'all just real quick what I use.
I always wash my face after I edge myself up. So
yeah. So to wash it, I use Tatcha, the Deep Cleanse. It's a new product I'm trying. Let me see if I can get it to focus like the YouTubers do. There it is. And then to moisturize, this is Gold. Yeah. Okay, and then also I do a drop of the Texas tea. Shout out to my baby for making this product. So I use the Texas tea with my moisturizer, and then I also put a little drop in my hands like this, and I rub it in my hair to keep it shining. So I straightened my hair like 3 days ago.
It was 2 days. It was only 2 days. It's been 2 days, trust me, I remember. But with that being said, we about to go from looking bummy to looking, I don't know what's the right word.
No, we about to go from looking fine to finer. Okay, because look.
We about to go from looking average to more average.
He about to go from that. I'm about to go from girl next door, cute, to baddie. Okay.
Y'all stay tuned.
Yep. All right, y'all. So we're just gonna get started with talking about things. But before we do, I'm giving y'all real natural nails today. These are press-ons as well. I love my press-ons, but I decided to do a natural look for them today. Okay, so yeah, I came.
What was your first opinions on the video when you started watching it? Did you find this video because of clips on the internet, or did you watch the full version first before you saw it?
Oh no, I had never even heard of this man. So what I did was I was on, a lot of times my friend, when you start seeing stuff being reposted, then you know like, okay, this is something popular. Like my friends were posting clips of it. And I was like, what happened? And I went to the Shade Room, I think, and Spiritual Word or World, I get them confused. And they were showing this clip. And in the clip, I heard him say, what would you rate yourself? And she said, well, without makeup on, I'm a 5, but when I put on makeup, I'm a 6. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds sad. That she would like feel like that about herself. And then I was confused as to why he was asking her that.
Yeah.
Because again, I just saw a clip. And so I was just confused all the way around. And so my first impression was like, why would he ask her that? And then why would she feel that way about herself?
Yeah.
And it was just sad to see. And then I saw comments.
That was your first view.
That was my very first view. Yeah.
So,
and what about you?
Yeah, so just so y'all know, my beautiful fiance brought it to my attention. Like she said, I didn't know who this guy was. Mm-hmm. But just because I don't know him doesn't mean that people be thinking that you have to know. You don't have to know, man. You can have your own lane, right? So he clearly has a lane of giving out advice on different areas. And I guess a lot of people go to him for relationship advice. But she brought it to my attention, and we listened to the whole video together.
On YouTube.
You know, so my experience was different because a lot of people nowadays like to take clips and they use them for spicy content. That's what I always say, just to generate conversation and try to paint people a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's just like I can understand how if you've only seen a clip of it, then you would be questioned it, right? But the way my mom raised us was, you seek to understand as much of the story as possible before having an opinion.
Yeah.
So after listening to the whole thing, I was like, I don't feel bad about the situation, you know, especially when you start from the beginning, because when he started going through and explaining, hey, this is my business, he gave her several opportunities, in my opinion, to like back out of the situation. But one of the things is...
So, hold on, baby. Before you get there, I just wanted to say what he said was, and y'all can see it in the video, this was a segment that people are supposed to call into if they have a disagreement about something. But he has a whole separate business model for people that want relationship advice. And you have to pay, or one-on-one consultations, and you have to pay for it. So he was already agitated that she called into the line where he just answers like quick questions about disagreements. And he was like, why would you call me on this line knowing that this is a service that you have to pay for. Yeah. But since you did it anyway, I'm going to make an example of you. When he said that, she should have said, all right, I'm out.
Yeah. She should have been like, you know what, man, my bad. I just was trying to catch you, but I'll make sure I sign up. If she really wanted his opinion and his advice.
Right.
Because clearly... man, I didn't know people be paying for it. Man, I be giving out advice for free.
Yeah.
I need to start charging, but clearly she wanted his advice and she was desperately seeking his advice. And even though he gave her several chances to kind of back out of it, she still kind of just jumped into it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, she disrespecting his business model. And it's just, I work in corporate America, Bri works in corporate America. If you go into a business and you say, hey, I'm here to get a job, the first thing they'll probably tell you is, hey, this is our business structure. You have to submit a resume online. But if you go through there and you say, no, but I'm here to get a job, I need to have an interview right now, you're not going to get a pleasant response. And it's just like, so that's how I kind of brought it all together, was that people don't treat life in every aspect of their life the same way they probably would do their business. And the thing is, this lady, she said that she had a business, he has a business, so she should at least have some respect from that level. But I also get that sometimes we live in this world so where people can seem untouchable. You know, so she probably felt that,
hey, this is my only opportunity. He asked me to answer the call. I'm going to get my answer right here.
And she did mention that. She said, you know,
I didn't know when I was going to get a chance or something, so I figured I would try it now.
Yeah. So I can see why she jumped into the issue. But the thing that I like, the takeaway is that if somebody presents something like that to you, and they say, hey, even though you called me on this or you set up something outside of my business structure or my business model, do this, and this. And if you don't do that, then that's your fault if you continue to go down that route. Because people are not, like, we live in an entitled generation, and when people feel entitled, that,
oh, you need to talk to me right now or whatever.
Just, she could have saved herself the humiliation if she would have just kind of did what he asked in the beginning. Right. But that doesn't excuse him for taking that approach, because he could have been like, you know what? Instead of making this a teachable moment,
let me just have the
hang up,
right, or hang up, or I'm gonna have he chose to still stay on the call and have the conversation with her. So it could have been an opportunity for maybe some new clients to see how he would handle that kind of consultation.
Yeah.
But so it was they both could have handled it differently. But before we continue with that, baby, what are you putting on your beard? Can you share?
Oh yeah, my bad. So a lot of the people that usually follow my journey, y'all been asking me for a beard butter for a long time. I've been testing my own. I made my own. You probably can't see it. Let me see if I can get it close. I'm down to the bottom of the barrel on this joint. This is the Texas Tea hair butter. You can use it on your hair. People always say,
well, can you use it on your beard?
I'm like, bro, your beard is hair, right? So you can, of course, use it on your beard. The main reason why I made it was because the oil in and of itself, a lot of times if you only use oils can sometimes dry your hair out because the oil protects the water from getting in. So the butter, it has different properties to where it can keep moisture on your hair and it'll make it a lot softer and you won't get that itchy feeling. If you, like a lot of times if you only use oil, it'll leave your face feeling itchy as hell. So that's one reason why I wanted to make the butter. And then it's also just because people have been asking for it. I've been on YouTube for about, 4 or 5 years? And like for the last 3 years, people have been asking me to make products. So that's what I'm putting in my beard. It makes it super soft, super shiny, easy to detangle. What you guys will notice is I'll start off with the wide tooth comb. This is an extremely wide tooth one. And then I go down into this one, which is another wide tooth comb. But then I finish it off with the teaser portion of the comb. Now, most black people, they don't want to use this when it comes to detangling their hair. But the product speaks for itself. I'm not going to hype it up. So you guys are going to see that in the process.
Yeah, and then I'm about to go in with my foundation. I use Fenty. It's the only one I use because if you're like me, I mean, if you black in general, it can be hard sometimes to find a shade one shade that matches your complexion. So that's why I stick to this because it's one. I usually have to mix foundations to match my complexion. This is in the shade 385. It's the Pro Filter foundation. I did try the other one. Excuse me, let me get that real quick. Let me get that from y'all. I did try the what is this called? The hydrating one. The Longwear hydrating one, right? I love doing this. Okay, right? I was putting my hand up like this. Okay. However, I don't like it. I like a matte finish better than this hydrating one because it leaves me real greasy. So, that ain't it. That ain't it for me.
I see you getting yourself ready. All right, so within the video, so introduction outside of it alone, when he decided to go into detail, the one thing I can say is even though he still chose to go down a route to have the conversation with her, throughout the video, he tried to be as respectful as possible.
It was still funny though, because I mean, I guess it's his cadence, like, ma'am.
Y'all know, y'all be at work and y'all have people come up to you and you have to be professional because, first of all, he still represents his business, but at the same time, you still be trying to be petty or whatever the case is, and he was just like, now, ma'am, I don't really want to say this, but you're making me want to say it.
Yeah. And honestly, it was the reason why I was so sad to watch is because she already had insecurities when she called. Like you could hear like the lack of confidence, the self-esteem thing. But what I think what I also didn't really like about what she was saying was when she said she was dating down.
Yeah. Maybe
that phrase just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. Like I would never want to hear somebody say they're dating me and they're dating down, when they date me. So
it's like, how would you feel if I told you, you know what? You wasn't my first choice. You was my last choice. That doesn't feel good.
Right.
Right? Like
might as well.
Yeah. I ain't got no options.
So, but then she wants to be chosen by somebody that, she wants to be somebody else's first choice, or I don't know how to explain it, but
it was like that. Like one thing that when I first saw the clip, I was like, it's kind of, she doesn't realize how hypocritical she's being because she's saying she's dating down and subjecting herself to lower quality of men.
Yeah.
But then she wanted somebody that was a higher quality man or somebody that was on her equal playing field. And I'm just like, but you treating guys that you view as lesser than you the same way that these guys are treating you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it goes back to the principle. Treat people how you want to be treated. Put out the energy you want to receive.
Right.
And it's like, the best advice that she could have gotten is just to watch that clip and see basically how she's acting. Because sometimes we do things and we don't recognize what we're doing. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, we doing this Get Ready With Me. Like, the whole purpose of doing this, you see us, we're looking in the mirror to be able to see ourselves, to see, okay, what are things that we're trying to improve, trying to bring out a little bit more. But when you're speaking, sometimes we have subliminal thoughts as well as all of that stuff like that, to where you don't realize that you'll do these things and they're not the things.
Right.
And if you don't have somebody that acts like a mirror in your life, you will not see it.
And then those things surface in different ways. Like, I know there was a point in the video where she, and neither one of them, I think, is innocent in all of this, but you know, she called into his show. There was a point, I think, where he was speaking to the realization that she really didn't know what she wanted, and that the things that she values and wants a man to value, men don't value.
Yeah.
And I think that was a key point, and that happens, you know, sometimes we can be oblivious to what men want because we're surrounded by women only. Like, you know, if you're a woman and you're only speaking to women about men, how will you ever know, you know, what, you know, a man might actually value? So
and
that was pretty.
That's not like, that's one of the topics we probably get into in the future. Like, single parent households. A lot of the times, a lot of us grew up in these single parent households where you're probably raised around nothing but women because the guys didn't want to step up and do what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of women, as well as a lot of men, never learn from a man's perspective what men like or what men want or whatever the case is. So when I saw this lady start speaking, like, she said that she had her father and her uncles in her life, so I'm pretty sure she has people in her life.
Yeah.
But still, even back in that old generation, a lot of the guys was told, just be a provider, right? And they think that being a provider is only paying the bills, putting a roof over your head, all of that stuff like that. But being a provider is also providing for someone on a mental, you okay?
Yeah, my eyebrows fell.
But being a provider is also providing something on a mental, intellectual level, you know, just so that people can understand. Like, I didn't have that growing up, but I had to work through my own insecurities. And that's what I started seeing with this young lady, is that some of this stuff probably stemmed from some insecurities that she had by not receiving this instruction, you know?
Right. And, you know, she also mentioned having a child and his father not being in his life. Well, she didn't explain it too much, but she said, like, he's not there the way she might want him to be. So that could also have had a lot to do with, you know, her insecurities. Like, why wasn't this person this way, you know, that I chose to be with at that time or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot happening with that clip.
But one thing I want to bring back to your attention that you kind of glazed over. I really didn't like how the fact that he tried to make it seem like, oh, black women are like this. Like, something's wrong with black women. You guys, you all do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because in my experience, I've known all kinds of people, right? And in every single race, whatever you want to say, this stuff happens with all women in general, all men in general.
Right, that's the key thing. We just didn't get there yet, baby. But yeah, men and women, and that was something we kind of discussed off camera too. Like, go ahead, though, baby.
But yeah, so it's just like, I don't like this. It's like an underlying tone within our community where we constantly put each other down as black men and black women. Would you put them to the camera, baby?
Sorry. This is what I'm using to contour, I guess. I'm not really good at it, but I just use this.
Yeah. So it's just like this underlying tone of always at each other, basically saying black women do this and black men don't do this, or et cetera, et cetera. And it's just, every single ethnic group has these things in play, right? I listen to my coworkers talk to me about what their wives do. And the things that their wives do, their Latino wives, their white wives, and everything like that, are the same things that black women be doing, right? And I just, that's one thing about that conversation I can't stand is they try to paint it out to be like black women are this kind of way. And I'm like, bro.
And they glorify those same attributes in other women of other races. And that's, you know, obviously that is that's what the issue comes in, because they're not having, I don't know if he would be having the same conversation with the woman who wasn't black. I don't know if he would have approached it the same way.
Yeah.
And that's sad, you know?
And one of those traits that you mentioned is that, like, so Latino women typically have high tempers as well, and they're classified as, oh, she's a spicy Latina or something like that, something that's positive, right? Or she's feisty or whatever.
Yeah.
But when black women exhibit these same traits, they call them, oh, she's angry or she's bitter or whatever.
Who hurt you?
Yeah, it's like, oh, she's uncontrollable and all of this stuff like that. And I don't respect that at all, especially when it comes from men, because it's like, men, a lot of the issues that we run into come from the fact that men did not step up and do what they needed to, right? And if you have a woman that's like that, you ain't got to deal with it, you know? So, but that's one of the aspects I just, that came in actually in the very beginning, because he said, see, this is what you all do. Call in, and even though I told you this, you said, but. Man, I don't know if y'all watch Gary V on Instagram, but Gary V runs into the same thing. These people be calling him and asking him questions, and he's known for saying,
I know you're saying this. Stop saying but, listen to me.
Right? So
and you can even speak to it about yourself, babe.
Yeah, and even with myself now, this is right here, this is what we call the Andy Slimline Pro. This is what I use to typically trim up my beard. I'm gonna do it, but not as much, because the noise may throw off the video, but that's why I'm using it right quick. But yeah, so even with myself, I be having people all the time asking me questions about YouTube and stuff like that. And it's just like, a lot of times I'll drop a video, right? Let's say I drop a video, how to make your beard softer. I'll have people that will say,
hey man, I watch all your videos. I love you. I support everything that you do. But how can I make my beard softer?
And I'm like, dog, I just dropped the video. But it doesn't stop there. So I'll send them the link to the video, just trying to be courteous and trying to be helpful. And then these people will get mad that I sent them a video rather than answering the question in the DM. But they fail to realize I make videos, so I don't have to spend my time answering everybody's questions. Right? So it's just like I said, we live in an entitled society where people feel that they deserve whatever they want.
And then in terms of that, like when Justin does respond in a manner that they don't like, then it's like, oh, you're not here to help us. If he's already said, listen, that video, I dropped the video, and then he might go as far as to send them the actual link. Sometimes, you know, now when he's not feeling it, he'll say, go search this. You know, that's what he's had it. But sometimes he might send them.
That's not necessarily true.
Sorry.
I tell people to go search for it, because most people don't know that everything that this world operates off of is SEO, search engine optimization.
My bad. That's right. I forgot. He did tell me that before. But I know that since he doesn't have time to explain all of that to people, when they approach him, they might think that he's just blowing them off. But that is
Hollywood and all this.
Right. But really, like, when you take we take time, you know, with our craft, and whether it be videos or photos or whatever it is. So if you had already invested the time to learn the things that you're trying to teach other people, you don't want to have to also go and teach them how to find it too. So I think that, you know, spoon feed them and stuff like that. And I think that was what he was getting at on the video was also a similar point, like, don't disrespect my setup, you know, my business model. This is the model that I've shown you, and you're here disrespecting it. So, but we'll get back to it in a second. I did want to show y'all, these are the only lashes I wear, unless I'm getting my lashes done by Glow Glam Lashes. But these are Socialite Mink lashes, and my favorite style is After Party. Yeah, that's my favorite style, y'all. So when I put these on, look, can't nobody tell me.
Say, bring all the boys to the yard.
I'll bring it. No, I ain't bringing no more. I'm not bringing. I only bring one.
Yo, she be out and she be telling me,
man, this dude came across me and these people.
And I'll be like, you're not ugly, so of course they gonna approach you, you know.
But it's usually funny, especially during a pandemic, when somebody's trying to approach you, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'd be
What's
crazy
going on?
disrespectful. It's just like they
You're too
forget
close.
social distancing practices. They just want to shake your hand and, bruh, go on somewhere. Y'all gotta find better ways to mac on women during the pandemic.
That might be enough. Yeah, like, guys in the comments, if you're single, how do you approach women during a pandemic? Like, in public? Like, what do y'all do? And do you do it safely, or do you just throw all that out the window and just be like, hey, mask off? Like,
That was like, I see it, I want it, buy it. And be on a little flip mode.
I'm using the last little bit of my duo glue. I need to buy some more, y'all, because I'm squeezing this out. So one of the things that Justin and I, we'll talk about it when he's done with that. Before we get to it, I don't really like rating people, like on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to looks, because I feel like to me it's childish, but I understand that you kind of, maybe some people need a universal thing. And y'all also see our height difference now in this video more than ever. I'm a striking 5'2", a whopping 5'2", and he is a whopping 6'2".
You know what I'm saying? When it came to the camera angles, we really had to figure out, okay, excuse me, what is a good camera angle for both of us? Because I didn't realize it until we looked on camera. I was like, oh damn, how are we gonna get this to work?
Right, because at one point his head was like barely, like,
I ended up, y'all probably see like the black lines right here.
Yeah.
I had to put a wide angle lens on my cameras to be able to capture more of who we are. So
yeah, because I told him, I said, baby, we can't just do neck up again. Yeah. And then at the end we'll insert some photos of, you know, our outfit. We're getting one thing I'll say, sometimes during the pandemic when you're trying to, you know, date your partner, you got to get creative sometimes, because like we're not going anywhere, especially since they had that spike in cases in our area. So we might get dressed up and do photo shoots for content. So if you and your partner are content creators, even if you're not working on videos together, maybe they do something totally separate, but y'all both need content. Y'all can go out and create content together, and that could be a date, you know, and then go get some food after and go home.
Well, she's basically saying that that's what she want to do. But low key, one thing that I want y'all to understand is that she gave me one of the greatest ideas when it came to taking photos, because a lot of times as a content creator, you may not know what to post, right? Like if you like in my same category, you talk about beauty, makeup, and hair. If you posting yourself every single day, people sometimes get tired of that, right? But being able to take photos of yourself, and then like we have Twitters and everything like that. And one thing I showed her, I said, okay, this is how I post my tweets on regular photos. And she was like, hell, we can put our own photos and basically put our tweets, and that's way better branding. And like, this is the first time I ever did it. And bro,
numbers
that post
crazy.
went crazy.
Crazy.
So that's the real reason why she's sharing it, is because sometimes as content creators, we are both content creators, right? Yeah. Even before us having this couple channel together, she was creating content. But the thing is, it's sometimes a struggle to get out there, right? So there's just different ways to where you can do things and put yourself out there even more. We may make a video in the future of how to actually do that kind of stuff on a technical level. But yeah, as of right now, I'm just trying to line myself up, because I don't want this hair on the back of my neck. Y'all see it. Like before it was like going through, but I lined most of it up. So
this line is clean, baby. I'm just putting on my lash, y'all. You know, let me do this over here.
But yeah, so in regards to the video, the rating system, whenever now the one thing I can say, I respect the fact that throughout the video, you will see he wasn't saying things about her. He kept asking her questions.
What did she think?
Okay, well, what do you want? And who are you? And what do you value? And blah, blah, blah. And how do you see yourself? Right? He never came out and said, you're this or you're that, you're this. It was always like, well, if you see yourself as average, why do you want something more than average, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people felt bad about that, but one of the top comments.
Are you laughing at me?
No.
Oh.
One of the top comments said something along the lines of, why do people take that being called average as as disrespect when average means most people are average, right?
Because there needs to be something to define an average.
Yeah, it's just like most of us are average. Now, she doesn't like this, but I see myself as average. I don't see myself as top tier, you know, like.
And hold on, before we get into it, because in the video, they were speaking strictly in terms of her looks.
Yeah.
And I don't want this to be confused, because when Justin said that he sees himself as average, he then gave an example about being extraordinary.
I'm still talking about my face.
Hold on though, but your answer the first, like he was like, I'm not there yet when it comes to where he wants to be financially and stuff like that. He's like, I'm not such and such. He may have said Bill Gates.
I said I'm not Elon Musk.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, baby, we just talking about looks. And so the reason I don't like him saying that he's average is because I want him to feel like he's already extraordinary. Otherwise, why would I be here? Like, look.
At the end go ahead.
He is a beautiful man. I always say beautiful because that's how I feel. He's handsome. He's internally and externally a beautiful person.
But you got to stick to the face. That's what it was. It's not about the internal.
Externally, hold on, y'all. He's fine. I don't know what he's tripping. He's playing. He's humble on camera, y'all. Off camera, he backslide, moonwalking with a shirt on and cupping and stuff. Baby, I'm the next Chris Brown. I'm just like, y'all.
When I said I feel like I look average, I do. Like,
baby,
and that's not like so.
No.
The thing is, I don't feel like that's a bad thing because when I go out, a lot of people always say, "Oh, you look like this, or you look like this, you look like this," and it's like, dudes, we don't put makeup on, or we don't do a lot of that stuff. Generally, right? So it's just like how we're seen always from a natural standpoint. And my features, I feel like they're average, right? I don't have no Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington has the most symmetrical face in this world, right?
Baby, we can't even see all of your face because your beard, but you have a symmetrical face
that's
too.
That's the reason why I say I feel like I look average, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, you know? Because at the end of the day, I don't know. Like I don't lack confidence. Like I know that she sometimes think that that's probably where I'm saying that. It's not a lack of confidence. I know whatever I want to be able to pursue, my facial features will not stop me from getting that, right? So it's just like it's not a lack of confidence. It's just I feel like I look average. I feel like I look like most light.
Even the way you said it, I'm like average. You said it with an average tone. Baby.
There's nothing wrong with being average though.
Okay, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree because when I hear somebody say they look average, I think they internalize it all the way through.
No, it's not true.
Well, baby, you still need to be careful with the words. Okay.
The one thing the reason why she's adamant about this is because we both believe in manifestation. What you say is what comes to pass, right? But the reason why I don't care about my facial looks being top 10 or elite or whatever is because, like I said, I know all that stuff is going to fade. Everything else in my life is what I focus on being above average, right? So when it came to grades, I always wanted to have above average grades. When it came to a career, I wanted to have an above average career. When it came to my salary, I wanted to have an above average salary. Everything in my lifestyle, I wanted to be above average. But when it comes to my face, I don't care about that because if I find value in myself on my appearance, if I was to get into a car accident, right? Half of my face would get burned off. Lord forbid. Then how would I feel about myself?
Yeah.
I would feel depressed. I would feel sad. I would feel down. My ego would be deflated. And that's not a good way to live life because life is more than that. And that's why it was kind of sad when he asked her that question. He was like, how do you rate yourself face only? Right? It's kind of like he set her up for failure, because it's like,
then he made her focus on that.
Yeah, he made her focus on that.
general.
And I understand why, right? Most guys focus on the face or whatever his is. And the thing is...
Baby, hold on. Don't say most guys. That is something that guys care about.
Yeah, most guys. Yeah, most guys. Like, most guys, like, I would say like 90% and above focus on beauty and the face and everything like that, right? And that's why they got the thing called she a butterface. Everything look good but her face. But what I'm saying is, whenever he kind of asked that question, you can already tell she has some insecurities about how she looked. She could have still said she felt like she looked like an 8. He said anything but a 7, right?
Yeah.
She could have said, well, I feel like I look like a 6 with no makeup, but an 8. And he probably could have rolled with it, you know, but it was like, I'm not gonna say he maliciously did that, but he strategically did it to where he put it back on her. And because of her response, then that's when it came out of it. And it's like, if you view yourself as average, then why do you expect something else, right? Like, so I didn't have any issue of him saying that because she views herself as average, right? Like, if I view myself as top tier, I want something that's top tier, and you should as well, you know? So
I agree with that, baby. We'll just have to agree to disagree with the context of average, I guess. But yeah, he's right. I think that it was a setup, but in a way, it was because he was trying to get her to see why she wasn't attracting what she wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because look at this. You know what I'm saying? Above average face right here.
Why she wasn't attracting what she wanted? Because she didn't think that she could. And we do that a lot. That self-sabotage stuff is real. And I'm not just talking about with a partner, but like in life. I have lived a life where I thought I could not obtain certain things. Like, it just wasn't in the cards for me.
You had like a lower view of yourself?
A lower view of myself and what I was capable of and what kind of life I deserved or desired. Like, I can't even dream about that kind of stuff because it's just not going to happen for me. And then prayer, obviously, not obviously because I don't know what everybody else, but prayer works. Like, I have worked through some things internally. I think sometimes other people can tell you all day long, you know, you are smart, you're beautiful, you are talented, you know, all these things. But if you don't believe it for yourself, it's just words. Like, it's just, you're hearing things. And so I carried myself in the way that I viewed myself, and I was, you know, attracting the things that I didn't want because that's what I believed at the time. And I'm not talking about men. I'm saying like careers that I didn't want. I'm still working through that one, but like even before this careers that I didn't want, living in places that I didn't want to live. I'm like, oh, this is the best I can do, you know? Yeah. And, or eating a certain way because, you know, I don't need to prioritize this. I don't like how I feel or whatever, you know, just different things anyway, in general. So, you have to think about all of that stuff. Okay, y'all, so I just wanted to interrupt myself real quick. I straightened my hair with the Chief flat iron the other day. I know he said it's been 2 days, but I don't remember. I don't think we'll get back to that. But I've been wrapping my hair every day and just not unwrapping it because I haven't been going anywhere. So this is the results. My hair has really been growing. I know that y'all have never seen me. Some of y'all, so you don't know, but I cut my hair off. I did like the big chop. And then I've been letting it grow out. The last time I straightened it, it was probably about right here. And now it's grown even more. So it's gonna, you know, keep going or whatever. I try not to straighten it too much. But what I'll do is when I get braids and I keep them in for a minute. So now I'm learning this technique where I just take them out, straighten my hair, maybe trim it a little bit or go get it trimmed, go get somebody else to do it, and then braid it back up. I'm trying to get to a certain length where I'm comfortable with wearing it in its natural state because I want the shape to be a certain way. Like I love my hair, but I want the shape of the natural hair to be a certain way. So I want to grow out a little bit more before I just start wearing like braid outs and stuff again, or twist outs.
Yeah.
But yeah. But the Texas tea has definitely been helping. And again, this is not me just hyping it up because my fiance made it. But I mean, you gotta hype your partner up anyway. But it's a really great product for real. So
we don't put out junk.
No, we don't.
At the end of the day,
y'all
know I don't hype my stuff up. Everybody and their mama tell me it's the best thing that they use. So it's just
my mama said it.
I always believe that word of mouth is way better, way more powerful than ads with anything you can think of. If you have something that people can't deny, then nobody can deny your greatness, you know? So, and that goes back to a belief in yourself. Is like, whenever I do things, I only do it if I believe that I can do it better than what's already out there in the market, you know? So going back to the rating stuff, it's just one of the things to where even if you are not a 10, like I understand it's important to be real with yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you view yourself as a 5, that doesn't mean you have to have low self-esteem, right? A lot of times people who will view themselves as less than a 7 or whatever will typically carry themselves that same way. And it's unnecessary. It's like your value isn't determined by your looks alone, but a lot of times because we value our looks more than other things, you can kind of see how like the lady, she was carrying herself. It was just kind of like she didn't believe.
She was looking down a lot. Well, she was also looking at her phone. I don't know, but she didn't look. She wasn't smiling or appearing to be happy about anything. She was just kind of like, I'm waiting to take in whatever this negative interaction is going to be. But also, I want to say that also speaks to what the context of the value system is, like the rating system is. Justin said he can separate him calling himself average looks-wise from him feeling average accomplishment-wise or different things like that, or what are his capabilities. But some people, if they see themselves, like, I feel like I'm screaming, but you know, y'all get used to it. Some people, if they see themselves as a 5, you know, looks wise, then they might also feel like their capabilities are a 5, like they can't go beyond that, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Like for some people, they might need to rate themselves a 10 in order to be high performing people.
Yeah. And what is the famous quote? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Like sometimes what people would like, she may see herself as a 5, but somebody probably watched that episode and was like, damn, she a 10 to me.
Yeah.
And
there are people in the comments saying that.
The issue is, it goes back to hypocrisy that she has about she views herself as dating down. And it's like, how can you view yourself as dating down, but then you don't view yourself in a good light? You know, it's just like, what I'm about to put on my beard right now is witch hazel. I just cut the under portion of my neck. Mm-hmm. And this is something that helps prevent bumps and irritation. Instead of using alcohol burns like crazy. Witch hazel has alcohol, but it's more of an astringent. So that's why I'm using it on my neck.
Yeah. But, and also, y'all, I am doing this MAC by Tiana Taylor collab that they did. This is the lipstick that I have on. I usually use this as a base and mix it with other stuff or wear it by itself. And this is called I Got a Man. How fitting.
But just to wrap the rating system thing up, is just that like, you really have to be realistic, right? So if you view yourself as a 5, that advice that he told her was not bad. It wasn't negative. Now, taken out of context, it can sound horrible, right? But if she views herself as a 5, what is the point of trying to pursue somebody that's a 10, right? Because she's not trying to pursue people that are 5s. She's trying to pursue people that's 10s, and then the people that are 10s are trying to pursue people that are 10s. You know, so I work with a ton of people like that. They have a high view of themselves. They make tons of money. They can buy all the plastic surgery in the world. I be seeing so many people, and because they have a high-paying career, we're all in the above 6 figures range, right? They can buy the houses, the cars, all the stuff they want. They have a high view of themselves, so they talk to people like crap. Whenever I was going to school for engineering, even people that don't look good from a like rating level, engineers, like I'm a civil engineer, right? Most engineers have a high view of themselves. It's like this God complex. And like, they look down on people who did not get an engineering degree or did not get a doctorate degree or a degree to become a lawyer or anything like that. So they may see somebody working at Walmart and they look down upon them.
Yeah.
Like, I try to avoid that mindset because at the end of the day, anything that we have can be taken away, whether
Right.
it's your beauty, if it's your finances, whether if it's your status, all of that stuff can be taken away, you know? So that's why I don't try to find value and stuff like that, but I understand the importance of it.
Yeah. And I agree. And I know for myself, I'm one of those people that like, I just try to treat everybody with love. I try to treat everybody with respect. Like, especially if I know you, I'm going to try to approach you with love. And if I don't know you, I'm still going to treat you with respect no matter what your profession is, what you're doing. Because we're all human and we all have like, I'm reading a book right now, Outliers. And in the book, he's talking about the fact that a lot of these people that are like super successful and things like that, what one of the commonalities is opportunity and proximity to that opportunity. So sometimes, you know, you might look at people's circumstances and like, man, they got all this money, they came from it. I mean, no, I'm sorry. They made it from nothing or whatever, stuff like that. That's kind of what he's talking about. And he's like, they didn't really make it from nothing. They were given something at some point in their life, or they were put in a position at some point in their life where they had an experience that led them to XYZ, whatever. So you just never know, like, so the people that look down on other people, I'm speaking mainly to them, like he said, people that are engineers, maybe they had that opportunity, they had the opportunity to become an engineer because they were in a household where education was valued versus somebody else who may not have been in a household where education was valued. So they didn't learn to value those things for themselves or see the benefit of that. So they took another route and maybe they're successful in their own way, you know, or whatever. But like I said, people judge all the time. It's just, we are layered. That's what I'm saying. Like, so you just never know. I know, I used to, when I first, one of my first jobs, I used to come to work dressed up all the time. And it wasn't really a major job, you know, but people would talk about me and say like, you think you all this or whatever because you
dressed up.
Right, because I'm dressed up. But what they didn't know was I suffered from some really serious insecurities about myself, and sometimes dressing up would help me to feel good about myself, to feel like, all right, I can accomplish anything today. And it was like something about putting on a pair of heels, you know, and that's what I would do. But they would just look at the exterior and be like, oh, she thinks she this and that, not knowing like I wanted friends just like everybody else, you know. I wanted to be liked in that environment just like everybody else. But instead of embracing me, they were excluding me because of what they thought, you know. So that's why when I approach people, I try not to do that because I know how it feels.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just crazy because it's like you touched on a point of like the insecurity thing. A lot of times we do things to where we try to make ourselves feel good, and it's like when I was going back to the clip. So while he's talking to this young lady, he's asking all these different things, and she found her value in her having a business. Yeah. Her being know how to like do agricultural stuff like farming, planting, doing crops and all this stuff like that. And it's just like a lot of times we'll try to mask our insecurities with our accomplishments. Yeah. And we'll feel like because of our accomplishments, we deserve certain things in life, you know? And it's just like one thing I learned is the easiest mindset is to feel like I don't deserve anything. Everything is a gift, right? Yeah. So therefore, kind of going back to your point, it's like when I approach people, I try to treat them all with love and respect because think about it. There's only going to be one Bri Dizelle, right? There's only going to be one J. Lew. Yeah. There's never going to be somebody that is exactly like you. So when you meet somebody, that is a the odds of you meeting that person in this lifetime when you met them is rare. The chances of that happening, it's not gonna happen again.
Yeah.
So it's like I value my time because of that, because I know it's not gonna happen. And it's just like, kind of going back to the point, that's probably why she felt the need to jump into it, because she's like, well, this opportunity may not come up. You know, and it's just like, you have to know the boundaries of like, okay, even though this opportunity may not come up, or this may be my only chance, like, try to figure out how to navigate that, because you don't want to end up in a situation to where you're a teachable moment.
Right.
It could have been totally avoided if she'd have been like, you know what, he gave me this opportunity to reach out to him, and et cetera, et cetera. But just wanted to say that, like, she just found value in her business rather than herself. And it's just like, that's where a lot of the...
And he was trying to he was trying to bring that point home too. He was like,
but you should put on your lips.
Oh, this is, hold on, y'all.
She over here.
This is just a gloss by Fenty Beauty. Y'all see it? And this is in the one... Yeah, I don't know, Fenty Glow, I think. Y'all know it when you see it, but this is the only, I'm not a gloss girl. I usually like a matte look all over my face. But I was like, let's do a little gloss, you know, get a little happy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But going back to the business point, one of the things that we had discussed was that, like, all right, even from a business standpoint, most people, they fail to realize that the reason why you didn't get a job, or the reason why you're going in and out of relationships, is because of how you present yourself. Mm-hmm. And I always use the example of a resume, right? When you try to get a job, most people say, man, I applied to every single company, nobody's hiring me. And I gave the example to my fiance. I was like, okay, what if I came up to you and I said, hey, here's a wedding dress from Walmart. Mm-hmm. And then here's a wedding dress that I flew out to Italy. I got it custom tailored and made just for you. Which one would you want? Anybody in their right mind, they're gonna say, man, I want the one from Italy, right?
Because it was tailor made for me.
Yeah. It's because, not just because it was custom made, but it's because I took more time to make it, right? So when it goes to resumes, a lot of people typically send out generic resumes, and they'll just put the same thing. They don't even tailor their resume for the company, and they wonder why they don't get picked. Getting a job as well as getting into a relationship is the same thing. They're all relationships, right? Right. So how you present yourself and the time and effort that you put into it will give you the results that you want. Mm-hmm. Like, that's one thing I had told my fiance is when we met up, even though, like she told y'all on the video, the Q&A, I'll make sure I link that bad boy right over here, that I came in like the 3-piece suit and all that stuff like that, and she came dressed cute. But at the end of the day, she didn't allow that stark contrast to change how she presented herself, right? She still had that confidence within herself, and the conversation was carried as if she was in like a beautiful dinner gown or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to match the attire.
That's true. Like, I could have just walked in there, saw him, and then my whole demeanor could have been like, oh man, I wish I would have dressed up, you know?
Yeah, she could have felt down about herself and was like, oh.
And then, but see, people do that without vocalizing. They do it. They carry it. You carry yourself in that manner, and then you wonder why, like, oh man, why isn't anybody checking for me, you know, stuff like that. Or you're confident, but in the back of your head, you don't believe. And that's like, you can be confident, but if you don't believe like you deserve love or that it's possible for you, I'm just speaking on love because it's a general
There is a thing as false confidence. You can be confident, but you can have a false confidence. Yeah. It's like a lot of people have they built up these false confidences in these things as, oh, I'm successful here, I'm successful. That's a false confidence. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, she has an inner confidence that nobody can take away from her, right? So in that moment, she didn't care that I was dressed up in a certain way or whatever the case is. And it's like, that's probably the advice that if the young lady called me, you ain't got to pay. This is the best free advice you can get. You have to still be confident in yourself, and you should not seek validation from somebody else. Because when you start seeking validation, this gets into what we can discuss in later videos, is the feminine and masculine energy. Yeah. Most women typically have purely feminine energy, and they want to be kind of validated, nurtured, kind of told, hey, you're this, you're that, da, da, da. So even while he's kind of like being low-key disrespectful, She's just sitting up there taking it.
Right.
Right. And at the end, she when she kind of got to the boiling point, she was like, well, yeah, you're being mean. And he was like, no. And that's when he went off on his little rant, you know, it's like, that's what black women, bro, it ain't just black women that say stuff like that. But the reality is, because of her feminine energy, she's just sitting up here taking it. When she didn't need his validation.
Right.
At the end of the day, when it comes to seeking advice, sometimes the best advice that you can get is from reading the word, reading personal development books. And one of the things that they always say is, if you don't want people to know something, put it in a book, right? So that's one thing that, there's a lot of things that I've learned over the years, even when it came to making this oil, doing YouTube. I've read a lot of stuff in books, so people are like, man, they look at me as if, oh, you're so amazing, you're so talented, da 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 da. And I'm like, bro, I'm average. The only thing that separated me was the fact that I read a book.
Yeah.
Even in school, they was like, man, how you getting A's and that? I'm like, bro, I just studied. I just did the homework. I went back and read the chapter. But what I learned is that most people don't do above average in their daily lives. So therefore, they remain average, but they have a higher view of themselves, you know, so.
Yeah. That definitely brought it all home for me, baby.
All right, so we are about to wrap it up.
Yeah.
For me, I'll plan on tapering myself, but I'm not going to do it on camera because I need to get closer.
Yeah.
So what I'm probably going to do is show y'all pictures either on our couples account on IG.
Yeah. So I'm done. I got ready before him, and something going on over here, but I got ready before him, so I just wanted to point that out. And we're about to go get dressed and take photos, but he's going to finish up his airdrop. He needs to get closer so that he can see himself, but he's looking all sexy, like I like, you know.
We speaking French over here, we
looking all sexy, but baby, let me compliment. He tells me, let me just compliment you sometimes. I'm saying no, but he does tell me that, y'all. So I'm learning how to say you sometimes instead of we. And y'all do that, you know? So.
That being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a comment down below of what part that you agree with, or even if you didn't agree.
Yeah,
you know, at the end
let's
of the day,
argue.
It's a conversation. This is just our opinions. They're not facts.
Right.
But the thing that helps us is it's all advice.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, no, I ain't gonna do that.
Right. So thank y'all so much for watching, and thank you for supporting us. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and definitely subscribe.
With that being said, hopefully y'all have a blessed day. It's your boy J. Lew
And Bri.
and we out here.
Salute.